I needed someone to talk to on my ride home last night because I was falling asleep, and I was talking to this guy who I haven't spoke to in a while, and he's just ranting about this person who he just can't get along with, and he can't stand them, and he's spending the whole phone call, and I'm just sitting there silent the whole time. By the way, but it kept me awake, you know what I'm saying? He's spending the whole phone call just trying to over-intellectualize and analyze why this person is the way they are and why it brings them so much anger, right? And it kind of reminded me about how I felt about some old friends at one point, even an ex I had. I feel for this guy, but he eventually stopped yapping and asked me. He's like, Andre, why don't you ever seem to care about people you don't like? And I said, what? That's not necessarily true. I do think about people I don't like or people who I'm not compatible with as just people, but in terms of your whole yap session, because you want to know my opinion on it, here's my response to this and about not getting along with one person who feel like you got betrayed by or who hurt you. So I said this to him. What I'm about to tell you is me not trying to push an ideology to you. It's symbolic, okay? Don't take it as something that's factual. Also, side note, whoever's watching this video or listening, I feel this could be very useful to you if you're having a hard time trying to understand certain people or situations involving certain people. So in the 1500s, there was a philosopher. He was also a theologian. He's a Christian theologian. His name is St. Augustine. You may have heard that name before. Huge figure in Catholicism and Christianity, right? But he was confused by his own belief system. He's like, yo, how can God be a single essence and three distinct people at the same time? The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This religion makes no sense. Like, what religion makes no sense? What is this, bro? Like, I'm a philosopher. This is my thing. I'm supposed to dissect this, and I'm telling you, this makes no sense. And again, but he's still a Christian, right? This is a Christian talking. He's saying his own religion doesn't make sense. The Holy Trinity is confusing to him. So he's like writing something. I think he was like trying to write a book or something. And he's trying to prove so badly in this book that the Father was related to the Son, and the Son was related to the Father, and the Holy Spirit is like the bond between them, right? Of love between them. So he's stressing out. He's like, all right. Oh, man. I'm sweating. You know what I'm saying? I can't be sitting here in this candlelit room trying to figure this out. I'm going to take a walk by the beach, somewhere relaxing, and maybe I'll just figure out how this belief system makes sense. You know, just pop up some relaxation. So he's walking by the beach, right? Bro got his shirt off, some swimming trunks, not really, but he's chilling, right? He's on the sand, watching the waves as he walks, and he sees a little kid running into the water with a bucket and filling the bucket with water and putting it in a small hole in the sand in the beach. So Augustine keeps watching this kid trying to put the water from the ocean into a small hole on the beach, which obviously is going to keep overflowing or absorbing into the sand, right? If you ever been to the beach before, you know what I'm talking about. Try to fill a hole of water, it's just going to, like, you know what I'm saying? And Augustine says to the kid, bro, what are you doing? Like, do you not see you're wasting your time? This doesn't even make any sense. You stupid. And the kid says to Augustine, the kid is like, what am I doing? I'm trying to make my own ocean by filling this hole in the sand. And Augustine is like, what, man? You stupid. That is impossible. The ocean is too vast for you to fill the whole ocean into that small hole right there. And the kid looks at Augustine and says, it's just as impossible and stupid as you trying to understand the Holy Trinity. And he got him right there. So that's the story, by the way. And so what's the point of the story, right? And this is what I was explaining to him on the phone. The point is, most people don't understand the boundaries of their own competence, but their ego will tell them otherwise. I think it's hilarious that people think or will call themselves smart just because they over-intellectualize everything. I don't think it's a coincidence that people who brag about their intellect tend to be failures in life or generally unhappy people. It's either one of those two. And I seen this new Cope thing where it's like, they'll be like, this is new, but they'll be like, smart people are very unhappy because, like, you know, they just understand everything, you know what I'm saying? They see more, so that's why they're so unhappy. They see reality. Yo, there's a correlation for that, in my opinion, because I think you're arrogant. And you think that you got life figured all out. And since you have life figured all out, you know what's funny? Here's another thing. People will they just don't want to be not cold smart. Everyone thinks they're a genius in society. People who are actually smart, though, People who I think are actually smart understand that when you're trying to push your intellectual limits to ways that are far beyond your own comprehension, you just make your life ineffective. There's a difference between someone who has a complicated way of thinking versus a complex way of thinking. There's a difference between someone who has a complicated way of thinking versus a complex way of thinking. So when you sit there trying to understand complicated people or complicated things in life, all you do is make your life harder. If you get so mad and confused at somebody for what they did to you, or you're so mad about, like, you just can't get over what is going on in their head for them to be this way, like, that ever happened to you? You're just like, what is wrong with this person? Like, why are they like this? Why are they thinking like this? Like this, like, tell me if I'm lying when I say all this does is make you more confused. You know what I'm saying? It stresses you out. Rather, sometimes it can make you more angry. Sometimes it can make you more sad, depending on the situation, right? Like I just mentioned about, like, everyone thinks they're a genius nowadays. Everyone thinks that they're intellectual. They just don't want to be, because it hurts their ego. This is like the second symbol of the story, by the way. The kid who kept putting the water into the hole, he can't fit the whole ocean in there, right? You know why? Because the water will overflow in the hole or it will drain itself. That's exactly how the brain works. When you try to intellectualize things that your ego thinks it can understand, you either get drained or you lose control over the information because it overflows, just like the ocean and that hole. All you do is make yourself miserable. And like the kid said, it's just as impossible and stupid as trying to understand XYZ. Yeah. You see what happens when you try to spend so much time trying to understand something stupid? You look stupid. You look confused. You look stressed. You look angry. You look unhappy. And this is why I was saying, like, you sit there, you think you're smart because you're over-intellectualizing everything, and all it does is just make you miserable and unhappy. So is that really smart? Is that really optimized? Is that really efficient? I thought people who were smart were optimized, efficient, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. See, just like the guy on the call, you're spending so much time trying to understand this person who is very complicated, and this person doesn't make any sense to them. And this guy on the call, they're calling them stupid and like all this. So it's like, yo, it's eating away at your happiness and your consciousness. This guy is mentioning he randomly gets mad during the day thinking about this guy. Like, look at what it's doing to you. You trying to spend so much time thinking you're rational and you're better than this person. You think you're above this person, you're smarter than this person. This person probably doesn't even think about you. You know what I'm saying? And you're forcing your way to intellectualize something that you end up becoming that hole in the beach. You're overflowing and becoming a nut, or you're drained emotionally and psychologically. I could keep listing more symbols from the story and how it relates to this whole topic here, but I think you guys get the point. When he was ranting to me, that's all I kept thinking about. Like, I was thinking, like, he's on the phone ranting to me. I'm like, why is this guy trying to intellectualize a complicated person that is too confusing and complex for him to understand and is causing his misery? So, and I just think it's kind of weird to keep calling this person that you're mad about on the phone stupid and stuff like this. Or like, you think that you're talking so low about this person and who they are because you don't understand them. Like, I feel like that's illogical and that's stupid to continue to mentally entertain this person. Literally, that's what I was thinking. Like, why are you doing this for? Like, don't you got other more important things in your life that you could spend your mental energy on? Like, I don't think this is smart. I don't think this is optimized. I don't think this is efficient. This person is beating you. This person is outsmarting you. They're not thinking about you. They got you. Yo, you're wrapped around this finger. You're wrapped around the finger just like that. And you're losing the mental game because your ego and pride is in the way because you think you're so much smarter and better than this person. See, and see, like, who's really the smart one here? Who's really the dumb one here? And like he was saying like I don't care about people I don't like, and I'm saying like, yo, that's not true. I think about people who aggravate me all the time, but I catch myself at times because the more I entertain these negative thoughts about people who I don't like genuinely don't like, it takes away from my happiness. The people who I genuinely dislike in my life, they're not even in my life. So when I think about them, they're not even near me or around me. So what am I doing? they're controlling my life, even when they're not in it, because I'm thinking so negatively about them when I do decide to entertain these thoughts, and it affects my mood and my whole day. I remember someone left a comment years ago, upset with me because I said that I don't be thinking about people like that, right? It's because of this exact thing. I can't completely erase a memory or a feeling towards someone. I could obviously work on forgiveness. I could work on just moving on, right? Obviously, that is something I could do, and that's something I've been applying and practicing. But, you know, I'm not going to let someone take control of something that's mine, which is my mental space anymore. I just can't do it. I just can't. Nope, nope, nope. Hopefully this makes sense. And I hope the symbolism of this story, and I hope it wasn't being overlooked because, ooh, it's about belief systems, bro. Like, this is people literally ignore the whole message over little things that they hold resentment or can't get over. And such is life. And maybe I'm being too blunt in this video too. Maybe I'm being too harsh in this video. So maybe the way I presented this was a bit too maybe aggressive, I think. I don't know. But I guess the message may have gotten lost in there at the same time. Hopefully you do get it though, or get where I'm going with this. But, you know, when I mentioned like the resentment about like, oh, this is belief systems, and, you know, the story is about something Christian, you know, I'm not, religion is this and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, see, this is what I'm talking about though. Like, that's exactly what I mentioned about like Augustine. You're acting exactly like Augustine. You're caught up thinking about something rather than the humility of what the message truly is, about what the point of something really is. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I love you all. I'm out.